If I tell you that you have a 314, 314 on the GRE, would you consider applying for ISB? Is it even worth it to write the essays and submit your application? Because 314 is an abysmally low score, right? That's what everybody who's watching this video will agree upon. But what if I tell you that I had a candidate who was our mentee who applied with a 314? She not only got an interview call from the school, which is the Indian School of Business, she also got an admit. Then you would not believe me, right? Well, I wasn't believing her as well when she told me that she got through ISB with this score. But then in hindsight, I did some analysis and figured and gauged why she got an interview call and why she got through and what it means for all of us who are looking to apply with the school in the upcoming admission cycle, right? So let's get started. As always, I'll not reveal any names. I'll only talk about the skeleton of the profile of the application and the essays for us to derive some actionable insights for our candidature, right? So as always, academics first, work experience next, and extracurriculars in the end. I'll tell you, basis my experience on what worked for her and what helped her in getting an interview call despite having a very low score, right? So academics mein she has been super, 95% in 10th, 96-ish% in 12th. And she did her bachelor's in architecture and she was one of the batch toppers in her college. So I believe 12th marks, college marks, super duper great, definitely helpful. Plus, what helped her was that she had a unique educational background. So if you are someone who comes with a bachelor's in pharmacy or architecture or journalism or mass media background, then you definitely get diversity points, because typically people who apply with ISB are from an engineering or a commerce background. So if it's an architecture education, then it definitely adds on to your profile diversity. So I believe her academics, which is 12th in college, plus her unique educational background somewhat compensated for the low GRE score, but not all of it, right? For that, we'll have to look at the other sections of the profile. Let's go to work experience. In work experience, she had 7.5 years of experience by the time she applied. So definitely in terms of work-ex count, her work-ex was higher than the median ISB work-ex of 4 years, which definitely helps. In terms of work-ex quality, since she's an architect by education, she started her career, she spent 3-4 years in architecture with a design studio, which definitely is very unique and is in conjunction with her educational background. Then he worked for some more time in a design studio. But what I liked was her shift after a career in architecture for 4 years, a shift to a business role, a strategy role in a startup, right? So the startup was in the real estate sector, which is somewhat related to architecture, but her role was that of business strategy and P&L management, which is super duper great in terms of a professional pivot for someone coming from an architecture background. So her professional pivot from architect to business strategy in the 7 years of her tenure, plus she has won a lot of accolades and achievements, Rockstar Award, all the likes of such awards across her tenure was super duper great. So I believe work experience wise in terms of count as well as quality, because she pivoted from architecture as a theme to business, which also helped her in making her case for why she needs an MBA in her goals essay. I'll come to that. Definitely would have compensated a lot for her low GRE. So work-ex count as well as work-ex quality. If she had remained an architect for the entirety of her 7 years, then utna impact na aata. But she took an unconventional decision and excelled in her new role. That was something which was definitely fruitful for me. The third thing, which I think is even more unique, is extracurriculars. She has been trained in Bharatanatyam for the better part of a decade. She has been writing poetry and books And I think the most unique thing, albeit it was personal but unique, was that she had undergone mental health issues during her formative years, and she talked about it in her first essay, which is the life story essay, which is how she was undergoing severe issues when it comes to mental well-being, and how she showcased resilience and started this mental health wellness platform for others to learn from her experience. She talked about it in the first essay alongside Bharatnatyam, which I believe helped her stand out. And she was questioned on this platform that she created for mental health wellness in her interview also, right? And her long-term goal after ISB is entrepreneurship. So she talked about this mental health wellness platform in her goals essay also, right? So everything is connected. And I believe in terms of work count and quality, she definitely hit it out of the park in terms of mental health issues. Bharatnatyam, being honest, vulnerable, authentic about it in the first essay, third essay, as well as the interviews, helped her get an admit. A lot of times people tell me that, Sarthak, is it okay to be vulnerable, talk about my parents being separated or me undergoing some issues, be it in terms of overweight or mental health in the essays? I recommend them, yes, you should, as long as you are comfortable, as long as you are okay if that point is brought up in the interviews, then you should definitely talk about it. Because the first essay, in terms of its wordings, says, tell us about situations which shaped your personal journey, not professional endeavors or expeditions, right? So I believe she put everything that she had in terms of uniqueness, be it taking architecture as her choice of education and then pivoting to a business strategy role. She talked about them very clearly, very comprehensively in the first and the second essays alongside her extracurriculars, like we discussed, and she was able to defend her goals very compellingly, because she had already taken a shift towards business side of things in her tenure in the last 7 years. And she talked about consulting as a short-term goal, and long-term goal would be entrepreneurship, which is linked to her mental health wellness platform, which helped her get an interview call on account of excellence in extracurriculars and top-notch work experience count and quality, which compensated for the very low GRE score. I believe she got an interview call barely because of her extracurriculars, the essays, and work experience count and quality. But she had a very good interview day, which helped her in sealing the admit. अगर interview जरा सा भी okay या mediocre जाता तो we could have been waitlisted or rejected, right? So interviews are important. She was very honest about the mental health platform and her goals, and why not pursue a career in architecture going forward in her interviews, which the alumni interviews liked. They liked her clarity and her authenticity, and why she needs ISB to pursue her goals, which is consulting, which I believe helped her get through. I hope this video gave you some insight into the fact that GRE or GMAT score is not the only thing that matters. I'm not advocating कि आप कम score लाओ. I would say get a 330, 326. That definitely helps you and me in helping you get an admit. But sometimes when you don't get a score, like she had given the GRE thrice, but she could not get a score. And even I told her, that our back is against the wall, apply करने के लिए कर देते हैं, and she applied. And when she got an interview call, I was so happy. I was so happy to see that, the school valued her experience, her unique educational background, her WorkX awards, her mental health angle, and Bharatnatyam angle as well. And she was able to very clearly and comprehensively defend what she had written in the essays in the interview, which helped her get an admit. So my point is, even if you don't get a good score, but you have some spice in your educational background or WorkX or profile, then consider applying and bring it very prominently in your essays. You might surprise yourself by getting an interview call. I hope this helps you, and I'll see you very soon.